Greetings, Marines. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Dave Trombly, and I have the privilege of serving as the 4th Marine Aircraft Wing, G1, Recruiting and Retention OIC. On this 100 years of Marine Corps aviation, I have the privilege of bringing a message from my commanding general, a message tailor-made for you, the active duty Marine, that's been vetted and approved by the commanding generals of both 2nd and 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing. The purpose of this 20 to 30 minute PME is to share with you 4th Marine Wing opportunities for officers who are stepping off of active duty. Now, recognizing this is a 20 to 30 minute PME on recruiting and retention, recognize that the first and foremost message that we would share with you and that the CGs would ask me to stress is that we recommend you stay on active duty. Why? Well, you're not going to find a greater workforce, members with the same esprit de corps, motivation, and caliber that you've come accustomed to serving with. That being said, we do recognize that families do get to a point where either great civilian opportunities, education opportunities, maybe health or family members' health, or you've just got to that point where you've come to the end of your contract and no matter how much time you've put in, you've already served and done more than your average American. We recognize that and we thank you for it, and we recommend that you join 4th MAW and stay a Marine. Marines, my intention is to give you a hip pocket PME, whether it's something you need or a Marine in your unit could use after you view this. We're going to spend the next few minutes reviewing the mission of 4th MAW, the locations, what an operational reserve actually does, the future of 4th MAW and the advantages of 4th MAW. We'll cover reserve basics, we'll talk pay, retirement, other benefits, bonus information, as well as how to join, and I'll give you some contact information. So right off the bat, let me just say, the mission of 4th MAW is to augment and reinforce the active duty component with an operational wing under a total force construct. So where is 4th MAW located? 4th MAW consists of approximately 7,000 Marines located in 74 units of DETs across 18 states around the country. If you're an aviator looking to fly, you can join MAG 41, headquartered in Dallas-Fort Worth, and fly with 764. Or you could join our aggressor squadron in Yuma, 401. If you're a TAC Air pilot and want to go Hornets, you could go with VMFA 112, the Cowboys. There's a C-130 squadron also located in that area. Or you could join our largest MAG, MAG 49, and you could fly 46s, 53s, or skids by joining 773, which is located in 3 sites around the country. They also have a C-130 squadron that's in desperate need of aviators up in New York. There's also MATSIG 42. MATSIG 42 has had up to 100 instructor pilots in its heyday, serving all of the trade wings as well as every Marine Corps FRS. No greater opportunity to step out of your TO'd weapon system and a week later be flying as a reservist with all your currency and quals and making yourself available for 4th MAW for future use. Also, we have AC2T located in Great Lakes. It's basically a repository of senior officers who have the opportunity to take part in exercises, serve as battle watch officers and Marlows for DETs and exercises, or to volunteer for deployments. Keyword there is volunteer. This opportunity in this video isn't just for aviators. If you're a 7200 MOS, there are opportunities right now at Marine Aviation Control Group 48. We need air support control officers, air traffic control officers, Marine Air Command and Control officers. And we have opportunities right now in places like Virginia Beach, Massachusetts, Dallas, Colorado, and San Diego. Also, we have opportunities at Marine Wing Support Group 47. We have 3 MWSSs, and there are opportunities right there, again, for aviators to have command, even though those are non-flying billets. A lot of command opportunities in all of these units. 4th Marine Air Wing is an operational wing. And what that means, Marines, is that we provide forces to source emerging and planned requirements, such as overseas contingency operations. Right now we have VMR supporting Operation Enduring Freedom, theater security cooperation events, Phase 0 efforts such as Operation Continuing Promise, where HMM 774 recently returned from a MAW float supporting Haiti post-earthquake and during the recent hurricanes. Pre-deployment training support such as Enhanced Mojave Viper, where many of our SMCR units have supported in the past. When we talk about support to the active component, what we mean is that our reserve units pick up active duty frags, such as JTAC frags in support of EWTG LANT and EWTG PAC. There are all types of opportunities for our reserve units to ease the workload of the active units, not to mention deploying once every 5 years with a 1 to 5 dwell time. When we talk about support to the active duty, we also refer to our Marines that are in the FRSs. We have Marines currently flying with HMX-1. When we talk about the FRS Marines, we're talking about Marines who stepped off of active duty right into a reserve SAL at the active duty FRS, where they could get in there and ply their trade in their TO weapon system right after they came off active duty. Many without any break in cockpit, maintaining their currency and jumping right in there, keeping all their quals. Other opportunities at MATSIC 42, not only for all the FRSs, but as well as at the trade wings, a number of our young Marines coming off active duty get to spend 3.5 years flying in training wing aircraft, and then following that, take a tour in their weapon system. Or they can augment many of the staff opportunities following a flight tour, such as going to MAR 4, MEF, MFR, up to the wing, or even supporting MUs. Some 4th MAW units are tied to the O plans, and there are many volunteer opportunities for any Marine who wants to deploy or just wants to get to schools and many other opportunities that are out there. Again, as we take this year to celebrate 100 years of Marine Corps aviation, feast your eyes on this fine aircraft, Pappy Boyington's Corsair. As we turn to and talk about 4th Marine Aircraft Wing's future, both of our C-130 squadrons will upgrade to the C-130J. Our Hornet Squadron will receive the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. As recently as 2 years ago, we stood up our first Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Detachment, VMU-4, in Yuma. The Yankee and Zulu variants of the skids are coming, and the tilt rotor will stand up its first squadron on the West Coast in 2013 and in the East Coast in 2014. We've already got our first small detachment of reserves, both instructors, air crewmen, and mechanics serving at VMMT 204 in New River, preparing for the future. So what are the advantages of 4th MAW? Well, beside continued challenge, as well as the challenges and opportunities provided being a Marine, the opportunities to continue to serve with Marines that you've known since OCS or flight school, there's leadership opportunities. Opportunities you may not have the opportunity to reach on active duty based on sheer numbers. If you're a current aviator, there are opportunities right now to transition to a completely different MOS to fill critical needs. There's the pay and the retirement, as well as some of the other medical benefits, and we'll discuss those a little later in this brief. The selected Marine Corps Reserve consists of 3 components: the individual mobilization augmentees, and those are individual Marine reservists who are trained for a specific task and then attached to an active duty unit. Then there's active reserves, full-time reservists attached to Marine Reserve units that are there to support the administration, the organization, the training, instruction, and recruiting and retention of those key units. And then there's the Selected Marine Corps Reserve, SMCR. Those are the units that typically drill 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. What is the typical component of an SMCR unit? Well, you have SMCR Marines that are drilling those 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. You have the active reservists that are there full-time, that are supporting. And then you have active duty Marines that are also a part of it, that will take some time from their active units to join these reserve units as an active duty member to support that effort. What is a typical reserve pilot? Well, I can tell you there's no such thing. In the 4 years that I've been in the reserve, and talking with many of the reserves that I serve with, I found that we all have a story. My story, as a mid-grade captain flying F-18s in my first fleet tour, I was diagnosed with a rare form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was blessed to beat it, and then I spent another 2 to 3 years trying to get back into the cockpit. During that period of time, I was fortunate enough to promote. I became a major, and my monitor said, it's time for a staff tour. So I did my staff tour. But after 7 years of not flying in a 14-year career at that point, I realized that I was missing something. I wanted the passion of being back in there flying. And I wanted to create additional opportunities for myself that I wasn't going to get because I had missed those critical windows, developed that MOS credibility, allowing me to become, say, a department head, and therefore never have the opportunity for further command. So I joined the reserve 4 years ago after 14 years, and in that time I've been able to fly. I've since promoted again and been able to reinvent myself in the reserve. My story's not uncommon to so many other Marines that I've talked to. What's the common denominator? Well, the camaraderie. We still get to wear the uniform. We still call ourselves Marines. We still get to fly. We're bringing something to the fight. Now, are there some commonalities, some typical traits that you will find when you go to a flying squadron? Sure. A lot of varsity players. A lot of the aviators that we have are patch wearers, WTI, Top Gun, over 2,000 hours of flight time, common. A lot of these guys are airline pilots. Some of them fly for customs. They bring a lot of aviation experience into the reserve. Many are doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, and they bring a lot to the fight from a leadership as well as an aviation standpoint. Let's talk participation for a moment. Granted, we talked earlier about 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Well, if you're going to keep your quals, if you're going to get your MINs, that 100 hours that we're all held to, whether active or reserve, you're going to need more than 48 drills. So we give an additional 72 AFTPs. Many opportunities for Marines to get out there and fly. It equates to about 5 to 7 days a month of being with your unit flying. And you balance that with your civilian career. There are other opportunities to volunteer outside the cockpit. Maybe go do a promotion board, go to a school, get some resident PME. All opportunities to continue the pay, the benefits. Again, an opportunity to reinvent yourself within the reserve. Most Marines don't have any trouble with their employers, but for those that occasionally do, your job is federally protected. USERA covers your civilian job should there be any challenge with you being called up and deploying, you coming back and getting your job. Let's talk about pay for a minute. Again, we talked about 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. So let's just focus on that for a moment. If you are drilling for 1 weekend and you're a captain over 10 years, non-flyer, you can make $740 in 1 weekend. 1 weekend of drills. If you're a major over 12 years, you can make close to $850. And if you're a major over 12 years, that is on flight status, with the additional ASIP, you can be making close to $915 a month. Take that with the 2 weeks of annual training as well as the 72 AFTPs, and that major can bring in close to $30,000. That $30,000 can also be plussed up when you volunteer for 4 or 5 weeks to go to promotion board. That captain can make approximately $12,000 a year. The non-flying major can make $14,000 a year, and the flying major can make over $30,000. Let's talk about bonuses. Are there bonuses? Based on the needs of the Marine Corps and critical MOSs, there are bonuses. We can check the MAW admins for that, and it does change on an annual basis, again, depending on the needs of the Marine Corps. Let's talk about retirement. If you've already served for 10 or 12 years and you join the SMCR, you can earn that 20-year retirement and get that federal retirement with just an additional 8 or 12 years. It's something that you don't want to pass up. There's no other place where you can get a retirement like the one that we have. Also, there's medical benefits. Medical benefits are key. If you are over 30 days of orders, then you and your family will be brought back onto TRICARE, and you can elect TRICARE Prime. If you come on orders for under 30 days, then you as the service member will receive full medical and dental benefits. If you're in a drilling status in the SMCR, you are eligible for TRICARE Reserve Select, which is eligible for Guard and Reserve members. This is a wonderful tool and something I've fully taken advantage of over the last 4 years. For my family to have coverage, it cost me less than $200 a month. If I were to go out there as an entrepreneur and grab myself Cobra, I'd be spending close to $600 to $1,000 a month. And it'd be closer to $1,000 because I've had a pre-existing medical condition and I have a very large family. So that's the medical side. Yes, there's some small co-pays. Think of it as TRICARE standard. What about dental? The dental coverage is there as well. Costs a little bit more, but you still have that same dental coverage that you're used to. Additionally, there's service members group life insurance. You continue that. First drill of every month, they pull that stipend out. And then there's the post 9/11 GI Bill. I'm using that right now to keep one of my children in school, and I was able to transfer it over. The only thing it cost me was an additional 4 years of service as an SMCR. Well, I was planning on SMCR all the way until retirement anyway. So that one was a no-brainer. We need to join. How do we do that? Well, let me tell you, the process takes some time, so you want to start early. The first and most important thing I can tell you, and if you forget everything else from this brief, you need to recognize that when you do drop your resignation letter, there is a box for you to check to accept your reserve commission. That, Marines, is the most critical step. If you don't check that box, you leave active duty, and 2 years from now you want to come back and join the reserve. It can take up to a year to get that reserve commission. Or you can select it now, and as you step away from active duty, you carry that reserve commission with you. You can join the IRR, and you will not have any obligated service, or you can join an SMCR unit, and you will not be required to deploy during that first 2 years. That application and approval authority is the CG of 4th MAW, and again, it takes some time, so we want to do that pretty quick. In a moment, I'm going to give you the website that you need to go to, the email that you can send to get additional information. Thanks for your attention. Marines, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I also want to thank the commanding generals for giving me the opportunity to share this hip pocket PME with you. There are so many Marines that have left active duty that didn't realize that 4th MAW or MFR opportunities were available to them, and now you know. I hope you take advantage of some of the opportunities that we discussed. If you have additional questions, if you want more information, or you're ready to sign up, contact us at 4thMAW_opportunities at USMC.